couples ask us how my relationship is doing, how we are doing. And we wanted to discuss that here today to learn a bit more about how do you know if your relationship is doing well and what does it mean that it's doing well.
And another question actually that sometimes people ask is they're saying, I feel okay in my relationship, but something is missing. And I don't know what that thing that is missing. And so I don't know how to work on it, right? And so that's another question. It makes us, some time ago, stop and think for a moment, what is a good relationship?
Right.
How do you know if you're in a good relationship? And how can you ask yourself, how's my relationship doing? Get actually a read on your relationship and know what you can do better, what you can do more.
Right. So it doesn't have to be abstract or something that's is based off how you feel today. We created 7 dimensions, basically steps that you can follow and see what's the basic things that you need to have in your relationship and what are the tools you can apply to make it better, to improve it, to find ways that you can take it to the next level, that it doesn't have to be just like, oh, we are okay, we are fine, I don't think we are well. So to know really how you're doing, we want to talk today about the 7 dimensions of your relationship and how it looks like.
And the time that we're broadcasting this is the beginning of 2022.
Right.
And so Happy New Year.
Right. Happy New Year.
And most people think about New Year resolutions or like, what do I want to do this year? And if you look at the dimension of your relationship, this area of your relationship, if you want to improve your relationship, so this could be very valuable to you. Understanding those 7 dimensions could be very valuable for you because you can see where you're doing really well,
right,
and where you can improve together with your partner to have even a better relationship.
Right. And that's also something that you can review and come back to it every few months to see how you're doing, if anything changed, if things improved or actually regressed, and how you can make it better. So it's not just about what's the issue, but how you can actually make it better. Okay.
And so we can jump in?
Yes, jump in.
Yeah. And so the first dimension is the dimension of security or commitment. Okay, this is the foundation of relationship. Because if you don't know if your partner is there for you, if you can't count on them, right? Like if you don't know if they're here or not here, if they're committed to you for the long run or not committed to you for the long run, or if you don't know if you can trust them, then a lot of the time everything else just disappears in a relationship. Like this becomes like the most important question.
Right. Yeah, the other dimension is the connection. How much we are actually connected. Do I feel loved? Do I feel like special for you? Do I feel like you're thinking about me through the day and I'm there? When there is sometimes enough security, but we don't feel connected enough. And that something is missing. That, okay, I know you're there, I know, it's safe, we've been together for so long, everything is fine, but we miss that part of the connection, of the depths of like, do you really love me? Yes, I know you're there, but you really love me? Do you really consider me? You really think about me? And that's a very important dimension. I mean, all of them are important, but for me, it's important dimension because I'm about the connection. I'm about really feeling like, okay, we are in love. We're feeling the passion. We're feeling that energy. So I love that one.
Right. So security is the first one, or commitment, right? And the second one is a connection. Love and connection. How close do you feel to your partner? The third dimension is the dimension of autonomy or individuality, right? Because I want you to imagine this. Let's say you actually do feel secure in your relationship and you know your partner is there and you can trust them and they're committed to you. And maybe sometimes you also feel connected. You feel loved and close and special for your partner. But then what could happen is that relationship could feel suffocating sometimes. It could be like, oh, we have to do everything together. Or I feel like, if I have other ideas or other friends or other projects or things that I want to do, then they're not welcomed, right? So the next dimension, autonomy or individuality, is I want to be myself. I want to feel like I can be my unique self in this relationship and bring all of whom I am and actually be supported for that.
Right. So it's okay to be separated a little bit. It's okay to have our own things within the relationship. It's great to be connected and do things together and create memories together. But it's also important to create space so each one of you can grow into your own individual and your own self. Yeah, I said that. Yeah. The other dimension is more about sexuality, about passion, adventure. That's where we really want to have spices into our relationship to make it more exciting, to make it more new, more refreshing. Couples sometimes we feel very secure, they feel connected, and they have space. Everything is okay, but still something is missing. It's just like
their sex life doesn't feel very
right, satisfying,
alive or satisfying.
Right? Or maybe sex life are okay, but they're just getting into a routine, into everyday life. Like everything is okay, but the spice is
the
missing.
Adventure, the excitement.
Yeah, the cinnamon is missing. the cayenne is missing. That's kind of like to spark it up. So that's very also important dimension to how we can bring that into our everyday life, and not just once in a while we're traveling to Paris and then it's just wonderful. No, how we can have that spice every day of our life.
So far we talked about 4 dimensions out of the 7. So we think that there are 7 dimensions for successful relationship, right? We talk about the first 4, and the first 4 are important because they're like the foundation of relationship.
Right.
They're actually 4 basic needs or desires that all of us have: desire for security, desire for connection,
Right.
desire for autonomy, and desire for passion or adventure, right? And for those of you who are new to our work, you can also find more information by taking a quiz on our website on lovemadesimple.com/quiz and learn what's your primary need out of those 4. Like what's most important for you, and then what's your secondary, and then you learn a lot about yourself. And so it's true on a personal level, like what's more important to me, but it's also true on a relationship level, like how's our relationship doing in terms of security, how's our relationship doing in terms of connection and autonomy and passion and adventure.
Right. And learn about yourself and about your partner. So when you fill up the questionnaire, the quiz, you're learning, first of all, you do it about yourself, but also if your partner does that too, you can learn so much about each other and which parts maybe are missing, or what is there the best dimension, and how you can spice up what is missing there.
And the next 3 dimensions are more dimensions of skills. So
Right.
if you have the foundations of how you want to feel in the relationship, now there's a question of like what skills do you bring on a daily basis in your relationship. And so the next dimension, dimension number 5, is communication. Right? Everybody knows that communication is an important dimension of relationship, and it goes both ways. So most time when people talk about communication, they talk about conflict, right? And you definitely need to know how to talk through conflict and disagreements, and how to make it something that makes you closer rather than something that makes you just in friction and more distant.
Right.
And there's the other side of communication, of like just like daily communication or communication that connects you.
Right.
Like when you come home in the evening and you meet your partner, do you know how to share about your day, right? Do you know how to ask them about your day? Do you know how to get like what's really important to them, or what they're feeling and what's
Right.
happening? Like there's a lot of tools and learning you can do in order to deepen your relationship through a good communication.
Yeah, that's basically, we all know the foundation. That's the most common thing we get from couples. We have communications issues. So the next dimension is more about teamwork, about the roles of your relationship. How do you do your relationship in terms of roles? Who takes what role in the relationship? What skills you're good at, and what skills maybe your partner good at, and how you manifesting that within the relationship. Because that's very important. When we step into a relationship, there is almost like an unspoken decision about who do what within the relationship. And usually it's not negotiate much. Usually more in the beginning, but later on just like, okay, I do the dishes and you do the bath for the kids, whatever it is. And we really want to invite a place which you can pause and ask yourself, do I like what I do? Do I like my role within the relationship? Is it working for me? What we are doing within our system, does it work? And when you slow down and ask yourself that question, you and your partner have room to change what you're doing, to invite more of what you need into what you have. So that's something that's in our workshop. We work with the premarital couples. We have a section for premarital couples, and we're going to have a whole section about that. How do you do your role within your relationship, which is really fun for the premarital couples before they step into the next step of their relationship.
Right, it's really important. And it's basically in a relationship, you're a team.
Yeah.
right? And especially if you're a couple who lives together, or if you're a couple who are married, or if you're a couple who have kids, even more, right? So you're a team, and the question is, how do you work well together as a team? And is there a place to improve in this area, basically, for you as a couple?
Right.
Okay, you're managing life together.
Yeah. And sometimes couples are a really good team. They're a really good team, but they don't have passion. They're a really good team, but they don't have much space for themselves. So looking those dimensions can help you to understand what there exists and really good and what actually is missing within the relationship.
And then the last dimension number 7, is about growth and spirituality, right? It's not important for everybody in a relationship, but it definitely adds something that makes relationship continue to grow and deepen over time. I mean, this is something really important that if it's important to you to kind of think about, because sometimes you have even all the other dimensions well, and so you feel really good, really solid, really excited to be with each other. But then you start wondering, is there more to life than this, right? And when you share common values, right? When you do things together, right? Like guiding workshops or teaching people how to have a good relationship. When you create something that is joined for you, that is bigger than you, then life gets more meaning, right? And then your relationship gets another dimension of how do we contribute together in the world.
Right.
Or another version of it is like, how do we grow also as individuals, or how do we grow together as a relationship? Because we know that, 5 years from now, you're not going to be the same person that you are now. So your relationship is not going to be the same. So are you open? Are the two of you open for growth in your relationship, to actually change, to do something new?
Right. In different words, sometimes we get really attached to who we are, and our partner get attached to who we are, and there is not much room for us to change or grow or try something new for ourselves. And this is a place where you can really examine it, how much you are growing, how much there is room for you to change within the relationship, and that will be accepted and welcome. So to go into that dimension would be really interesting, I think, for couples, because that's where they can find that a stuckness can happen, because everything is okay, but I want to go for a week meditation, but that means I have to watch the kids? I don't think that's possible. And then she's like, oh, well, that's true. And then you stay at home because that's not okay to your partner. And that's where you get stuck. And eventually over
growth.
time, you stop your growth because, life happened. I have to, raise the kids. I have to work. And when that dimension is missing is, again, some of the spark, the life spark is disappearing. So we want to definitely invite you guys to look at that.
So now we described the 7 dimensions, and once we upload this video and we'll be able to add some links, we can also share links with you of a questionnaire that we created about it that takes each dimension and break it down a little bit, so you can actually really ask yourself, how am I doing in those even sub dimensions within that, and really learn. And it's not about really rating yourself. It's not about getting a grade. It's not built that way. It's more about just making you think, and hopefully maybe bringing it into your relationship and have a dialogue about it. Have a dialogue about what works well and how each one of you sees that, and also what you can improve, this year or in general. What can you improve between the two of you?
Right. And what can be interesting is that each one of you can take that questionnaire to do the 7 dimensions, that compare it and see the differences between the two of you. And I'm sure you will have differences, and that's okay. But then it's a beautiful time to sit down and have a conversation about how we can set up intentions and goals for our next year to bridge the gaps, to find more ways that we can feel connected, more secure, more adventurous, more autonomy within the relationship. Depend what's there, how you can improve it. But sit on it together and make it more as a relationship project, instead of just like, I wrote like 10 in sexuality and passion and you wrote 5. So what does it mean? We are in not a good place? Well, it's not what it means. It means like there are places for each one of you to improve, and there is room for discussion to understand why that actually happened and how you can change that.
Great. So we hope you're going to use this as an opportunity to reflect and as an opportunity to create a dialogue with your partner if you have one.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you in another video.
Wonderful. Have a wonderful year.
Thank you.
Bye.